Well, hello, Purple. It feels weird to be this big. How are you doing this morning?
Ladies, good morning. Good to see
Oh,
you.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, excuse me while I whip this out. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. So, we're going to cover some ground that we did on our live stream, but what we did manage to do is we got more information. Why we're doing this is not a lot of people seem to be talking about what Amazon has done with the Rings of Power and releasing what appears to be a new global marketing approach. Now, am I reading too much into this, Purple?
That seems to be the gist of it. At least that's what they seem to want to be doing. As you say, we covered this on Tuesday. We covered it live. We got to see the fantastic. I can't even call it a trailer. Preview. No, not even preview. Whatever this was that they decided to air just after the end of Big Brother on Brazilian TV, and this is what we got, and we were thoroughly bemused by it, I think would be the best way to say.
Agreed. And what was so weird about this is we in real time watched I would say a pretty good site for Tolkien. I think it's the fans of Tolkien. They're on
Mhm.
Twitter. They were dying. They were waiting live patiently, trying just if anything dropped. I think it was 4 hours. And once they got it, I could tell you their faces were just as shocked and horrified as ours was.
Mm.
Nobody, I don't. Here's the thing: this dropped. Nobody in any of the entertainment journals has dropped even so much as a press release discussing this new marketing approach that Amazon has done with this. However, our very good friends at the One Ring.net, of course, they ran with this. This article came out yesterday. Now, Purple, I haven't spent a lot of time going through this, but let's just say overnight, and this is Tuesday, Amazon Prime Video Brazil used the final episode of the 2022 edition of Big Brother Brazil to show a high concept teaser ad for the Rings of Power. I think that's overstating it, but from what we know, we had somebody who was familiar, he was somebody from Brazil come on the show, say this is happening, and we were tracking it live on Tuesday. Now that went
Mhm.
on for a couple hours while we did the show. When this thing dropped, we saw it near relative real time. This article, from what we know, it was probably one of the most expensive ad buys so far in Brazil for marketing the Rings of Power. And what did Amazon do? They subverted our expectations,
That
didn't they?
that's certainly one way of calling it. Yeah, absolutely. As you say, once again, they seem to have spent a lot of money to promote this, but you think if you are promoting this show that you really want people hyped up about, you would actually give them something new. And I don't know about you, but we've watched it through a few times, and I didn't see anything new.
Let's not bury the lead on this thing. We're going to show you. We have 13 people in the chat and hail to you. We've got Faye, we have Jaden Hamilton, we have Sultan Al Fahima. If I'm missing you guys, it's because we just decided to go live with this thing. We have my good friend Vic Rattleheadin. He's my Taveran Wolf member. It's great to have all of you in chat and hail to you, those of you who watch this in replay. Let's not bury the lead on this. Let's watch this video. You're
Mhm.
going to pay attention to the translation of what you're seeing.
Yes, please.
It is unintentionally hysterical and horrifying at the same time. But this is Amazon for you. And we will have a little conjecture after we watch this video. Of course, this was originally in Portuguese. This is the Rings of Power. And Amazon spent a whole hell of a lot of money. This is their marketing push. And we will talk about where I think they're going to go with this on an international scale.
Mhm.
Keep in mind those influencer videos. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Embrace the horror.
Há uma poderosa força que move nossos protagonistas. Uma busca, uma chance de reescrever a própria história, de renascer sem precisar morrer.
Eles ouviram o chamado, cerraram as grades de suas prisões imaginárias, venceram seus medos e saíram para o mundo.
Mas não se engane, não acaba aqui. O lugar seguro está cada vez mais distante. E a linha entre o bem e o mal mais turva.
Os tolos e pobres de espírito ficam pelo caminho. Os que chegam encontram no fim um novo começo. A redenção. Bem-vindo à nova lenda de Senhor dos Anéis. Os Anéis de Poder.
Existem maravilhas nesse mundo. Eu posso sentir.
Let's take a moment. Let's all take a moment and think about that. Hold on. So let me tell you what we all thought live, because we were getting this stuff live on the show. We had 4 people. We had a bunch of people in chat. Everybody was throwing ideas out. We all thought that those people we saw were actually actors from the show, from the Rings of Power, because that would be kind of meta and cool, right?
Yes, that would make sense. You introduce your new cast, even if they're not playing the roles that they're playing on the show. You kind of give people an idea of what to expect. But no, not Amazon.
So those people who we saw, who I thought a lot of those people looked like they would have fit into Middle Earth.
Yes,
I really did think that.
especially the gentleman with the beard. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he looked like President Snow from the Hunger Games. Yeah, there we go. Look at people. Yeah, this is who. Look at this. This is what I wanted to show you. Doesn't that look like these people were going to be in Tolkien's world, in Middle Earth, in the ring, the anus of Poder? I mean, the Rings of Power that we have here.
That's what it's going to be from now on, the anus of Poder. Yes.
So let's not bury the lead and let's not flog this horse. The people that we are seeing on screen are not in the Rings of Power at all. They are actually apparently very well-known Brazilian soap opera stars, you know, like General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, only in Portuguese in Brazil. This is what Amazon spent a lot of money on during this highly rated show in Brazil. They used soap opera actors to say generic fantasy things about the Rings of Power. And they gave us absolutely nothing new in a trailer. If anything, they cut things out of the trailer. Purple, what do you think about this? Like, we've had a couple days to digest this, but in some inside baseball, Purple and I were hanging out doing show planning for next week, and we both got so frustrated, we just said, screw it. Nobody's talking about this. We're going to go live. So that's why we're here.
Exactly, yes. And we were, as you correctly said on Tuesday, we were talking as a group, we were speculating and we were coming up with ideas as to what this could be. You know, obviously this is something big for them. This is the end of Big Brother. They've got this expensive time slot that they've booked. You know, this is either going to be an interview with the creators or the actors, or we're going to get new scenes that we haven't seen before. But what we got was kind of a letdown, I think. And as people are correctly saying in the chat, you know, it's being ratioed already. People are not happy once again with the advertising that they're trying to put out for this show. It is bizarre.
Well, and here's the thing, the OneRing.net. If you, in my opinion, if you don't think these guys are bought and paid for shills, in my opinion, allegedly, just to pull a salty cracker on a salty Texas Sea show. The OneRing.net does Amazon's work for them. The things that apparently we were all supposed to have noticed, they're pointing them out. There were apparently, in Purple, apparently, we're just not fans of Tolkien. Otherwise, we would have gotten this. There
Clearly,
are apparently
yes, we're
a
not
number
super
of...
fans.
We're not super fans, you know? It's banging! Remember that? Additional Easter eggs in here. So apparently, above the fireplace are 2 lines in text in Portuguese, which translated, well, of course, 3 rings for the kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their hall. Okay, fair.
Okay.
Not knowing Portuguese, I'm sure if it was in English or maybe even in French, I could have maybe caught that. But I don't know. This image looks like it was color corrected because that was some dark AF stuff. So I guess that's an Easter egg carved in a bookshelf. It was too damn dark to see. Let's be honest, Amazon.
Yes, it's a
9 for the. Go ahead.
blink and you miss it kind of thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then of course they have 9 for Mortal Men Doomed to Die. But as you can tell, this was absolutely color corrected because it was too damn dark. And apparently we were supposed to read this Portuguese translation of the books. This is the appendices to the Lord of the Rings.
You mean the only actual Tolkien that they've got that
Yes.
they can work with?
Yes. So that right there, those 2 inches on either side of the page are actually what Amazon can work with. And yeah. This is so stupid. I mean, onering.net, A for effort, but come on, guys. This is insanity. Look at now they're breaking it down in Portuguese. Yeah, this is a failed marketing approach. Now, obviously, I don't read Portuguese. There was a piece of paper that went by that said one for the dork lord. That's pretty close.
I like
I'm
it first.
gonna call the Sauron in the Lord of the Rings the Dork Lord on his throne in the land of Mordor, where the shadow lies. Purple, I'm sitting here talking like a lunatic. What do you think about this?
I think they've got a lot of nerve putting Lord of the Rings in their Tolkien bastardized show, since they didn't want anything to do with Tolkien in the first place.
And the other thing, and I conjectured this a little during the show on Tuesday, but we actually did talk for several hours after the live show, a lot of us, about what we thought this meant. I think we're going to see this same approach here in the United States, in the UK. And much like the influencer video, this it's going to be the same thing. They're going to do it for Germany, for France. They're going to be taking people that are pop stars or soap opera stars or maybe late night comedians, and they're going to be the brand ambassador saying generic fantasy things or saying perhaps even lines from the Lord of the Rings with no more trailer footage. And I think that's, in my opinion, the most disturbing thing about this is they could have given us one more image and they didn't give anybody anything. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. I think, as you say, we were kind of discussing, and this is probably the most likely next phase of their, rolling out of trying to get people hyped for this show, bring it out to different countries. And this is nothing against the actors who appeared in this. I'm sure they're lovely people. They're just doing a job as actors do. I would say, it's not quite as bad as the terrible influences that we had in the previous rollout, but again, it just shows no imagination, and again, it's not giving the fans anything to latch onto. Why are we supposed to be excited about this show when there is no new scenes, no new characters?
There's 2 things I want to call out. In Hail to Lucas Bertoni says, "Oh my God, I am Brazilian. This is so embarrassing." And then there's a comment from Faye, which I think, again, this is why the chat is absolutely fantastic. Rewrite history. Break out of an imaginary prison. I think this rewrite history thing, I think that's where they're telling us their intentions. I really do. I really, really, really do. I hope you're wrong, Faye, but I think you are being incredibly observant. And yes, Lucas again says that those are Brazilian actors. Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh, and Purple Valkyrie, thanks for this. Vic Rattlehead has been a member of this channel for 4 months, has a wolf brother, and upgraded his membership to become a Taveran. Gave me my very first super chat. Vic, it is so great for the time zones to work out so that we actually get to see each other. He says, Amazon only promotes shows that suck. Wheel of Time and Ring of Power. You're not wrong there.
And you've come up with a very close correlation between these two shows. It's like the Wheel of Time is kind of like the testing ground for Lord of the Rings, and that does seem to be the case the way things are being rolled out.
I think it was Max who brought this up on the Tuesday show. There was this dude wearing this huge sapphire, and I'm like, okay, is that part of a Brazilian soap opera? And what the conjecture was that we had was potentially, could this be one of the Cimarrols? Now,
Mhm.
the OneRing.net says, Siu George also wears a large sapphire pendant. Could it have some prominence?
I mean, it could. If they were going for jewelry, the most logical would have been a ring on his finger that they could have focused on.
No. Why would you do that? Purple, what are you talking about?
There's
Why
no
in a show
there's
called The
no
Rings of
rings in
Power? Why in a show called The Rings of Power that's supposed to be about the crafting of the rings? Why wouldn't you have a big sapphire pendant?
Good
God.
point. There's no rings in Lord of the Rings.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh, and look, yeah, like I got that hit me over the head thing with the waterfall painting.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, okay, fair, fine. It's
Is this
just
supposed to represent the frozen waterfall that warrior Galadriel is climbing up, do you think? Because
I
it's all
don't
supposed to
know.
be very meta, isn't it, from what I can tell?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's really weird. And no matter how many times you watch that video, it doesn't get any better. I mean, it really doesn't. And why I wanted to bring this up today was because I think, much like the influencer videos that we saw, and we're all familiar with that. Purple, you've covered
Mhm.
it, I've covered it, we all have. And then all of the different countries with their targeted marketing approach that all had the same scripts. I do anticipate this is the approach they're going to take. Now, from your perspective, do you think Amazon is, just tell me what you think about it, what Amazon is doing. I'm not going to lead you on that one. Tell me about this approach, if that's true, if they go with this.
Honestly, I don't think Amazon really do know what they're doing anymore. I think because they had such a huge blowback with the previous rollout of, trying to advertise this and trying to kind of get people on board, and they really got criticized for using influencers instead of using actual fans who knew what the heck they were talking about. Now, if they do go ahead with this next rollout and throughout different countries, bring in actors and very famous or mid-level stars, comedians, whoever it is they use. I think it's a very cynical way to do it, because at the end of the day, what you're trying to entice are the fans, and that's the one thing that Amazon have gone out of their way to really exclude. It's the people who love Tolkien. They are not listening to what people are telling them. In fact, they're going out of their way to not listen to people.
We're getting some amazing comments on chat. Faye, you're on fire. She says also, people said some of the actors in reality, well, were heavily critical of European culture, which they see as imperialism, and they hate it, and now they promote it. It's weird. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, again, is Amazon trying to promote Tolkien the way they would a show like Reacher or a show like Outer Range, which is a really good show, but are they just taking this generic approach and like absolutely no thought to how to emotionally appeal to the fandom? Do we think that they took absolutely no lessons away at all from the backlash to the names they've called us? I mean, I'm concerned that Amazon, being such a huge corporation, it takes so long for things to get through their creative process and algorithms and diversity committees, that these things were probably set up as a marketing plan 2 years ago, and now they're only just being executed now. And
Mm-hmm.
God knows what kind of cringe we get. But I'm going to tell you this: if I'm right, and I don't want to be, and this is what they do, where country by country by country, we get Stephen Colbert and maybe like Carly B or the Kardashians doing this with the Lord of the Rings. I don't think this is going to end well for Amazon. Who would you conjecture, Purple, they would take in the UK to do this?
Well, knowing the UK, it would probably either be James Corden, God help us, even though he's
Oh,
technically in the US, he's still kind of like a brand ambassador.
yeah.
I would
Oh,
rather not. Or it would be, they would go with the soap opera route that they've done with the Brazilian actors, and it would be somebody from Coronation Street or EastEnders, or, one of those quite serious, down to earth shows that would absolutely not fit within the confines and of Lord of the Rings with this grandiose fantasy setting. It would just be such a bizarre look. But would we be surprised if they did that? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the conjecture is I think now we can just say we have to embrace the cringe on this. I think we have to, and I'll play this in the background while we talk. It doesn't get any better when you watch it again. And you know what? If I were smart, I'd actually turn the subtitles on. Sorry about that.
Yes, just do you think that they will correct those subtitles? Because I think perhaps that they were translated quite quickly. I hope they don't.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't paying attention, apparently they're going to masturbate something in the Rings of Power. And
Mhm.
if that's the case, I think maybe there might be some value to this show. But I don't know. I just honestly, I just
I mean, it's a very fitting analogy for what Amazon are doing to Tolkien's
very
work,
fair.
but yes.
Very fair. And I lost the stupid translation of it. But I mean, it's
Yes, but what she apparently says is, "But make no mistake, it doesn't end here. A safe place is each time further and further away, and the line between good and evil blurs." Now that's what she apparently says, but that's not what the subtitles say at the moment.
yeah, I yeah.
So thank you, either you. I don't know whether it was Amazon or YouTube, whoever it was. Thank you for that.
I mean, Portuguese, I think because it's so close to so many, it's a Romance language, but it has some
Mhm,
fundamental differences. I think the algorithm has no idea where to go with it, and
mhm.
which is hysterical and good for us. But I will drop this in the background. Let's go ahead and let's just do this one more time. Let's watch it in real time without the subtitles, and let's see if we can all. Oh, I'm gonna go full screen. Let's see, and all right, so here we go. Chat, I'm going to drop you out. Don't worry, we're going to bring you right back. But I want everybody to look at this because let's look for all of this hidden Easter egg stuff that they're telling us is there, which you can't see. Here we go.
Há uma poderosa força que move nossos protagonistas. Uma busca, uma chance de reescrever a própria história, de renascer sem precisar morrer.
Eles ouviram o chamado, cerraram as grades de suas prisões imaginárias, venceram seus medos e saíram para o mundo.
Mas não se engane, não acaba aqui. O lugar seguro está cada vez mais distante. E a linha entre o bem e o mal mais turva.
Os tolos e pobres de espírito ficam pelo caminho. Os que chegam encontram no fim um novo começo. A redenção. Bem-vindo à nova lenda do Senhor dos Anéis. Os Anéis de Poder.
Existem maravilhas nesse mundo. Eu posso sentir.
And here's where we should have got it.
Yes.
Nothing. We got nothing. They took out. We didn't get the Princess Diza. We didn't see Bronwyn. We didn't. And again, all of these are made up characters. Hold on. Oh my God, I hate you. There we go. Yeah, I mean, again, we didn't get. They didn't even show Princess Diza. There was no Arondir. There was no Bronwyn. It's like they're now hiding what they did. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more we can flog this thing. I wanted to bring this up as a matter of awareness. I think just doing a quick 30-minute video on it is the way to go. But we've had some absolutely fantastic comments in chat. Again, this is from Lucas Bortoni, who is a Brazilian. Hail to you, says, those Brazilian actors are not currently getting good jobs anymore. End of
Oh.
career thing, so money talks. Thank you for that. It's yeah, yeah, and I should probably bring the chat in because I know what I'm doing. That's why I have 2,000 subscribers. I'm so good at this. God, I'm a moron. This is well, there we go. And hail to you, Pirhana says it looks like the anus of power. Yeah, yeah. There it is, guys. Purple. In closing, I guess where do you think it goes now? When do you think we're going to get another trailer, like legitimately a trailer? Are we ever going to get one?
I don't know. I mean, going by what the chat has been saying already, this trailer, when it has, launched in Brazil, it's been rightly panned, very similar to every other trailer that they've released so far. So I don't know if they've already paid for these. I can't imagine that they would scrap them. but it just seems very strange to just do a singular one and just in Brazil. Now I've heard that Brazil and Latin American countries have a big following of Tolkien, and that's amazing.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have thought it would have launched in the UK or in the US or somewhere, in predominantly English speaking country first, and then rolled out throughout the rest of the world.
Again, hail to you, Lucas Bartoni. He says, and this is, of course, in Portuguese, the actress says mais turva, which means more cloudy. Yeah,
Mhm.
they couldn't get more cloudy with an adaptation. Unless you want to look at Wheel of Time. Hail to you, those people who follow me because of Wheel of Time. Here we go. Just to me, it's more confirmation that what they did to the Wheel of Time in destroying things, it's the same marketing approach, and we're seeing it with the Rings of Power. I'm gonna say we're gonna see this same marketing approach where I'm gonna say it's either the Kardashians or I don't know, some type of trans representation. Riding on a pony, probably just saying random words about generic fantasy with little hints of iconography. And I really appreciate the OneRing.net really getting down on their knees with those knee pads and trying to service Amazon for this. But watching that trailer, and we were watching it at 0.75 speed, you
Mhm.
couldn't see any of those Easter eggs.
No.
Those things were not visible at all.
No, and I also give a shout out to the guys who were watching it for 4 hours, and they were so excited, and they were speculating, and I feel really bad for them, but they did a fantastic job as well.
Yeah, Maxfield Von Priestley said it not this week, but last week. There's a couple people he's been following for this show that were neutral. And after what Amazon did with releasing those idiotic pictures of the perfume ad with Bronwyn and then Theo, which is completely inexplicable to me, considering
Yes,
Tolkien's love of language and naming conventions. Yeah.
it's bizarre. We didn't even see the new characters that they just dropped. You would have thought that would have been maybe a logical thing to do, but logic has no place with Amazon.
I agree. So don't be surprised if you see someone who you would never in a million years think shilling or trying to sit there and be clever with some very like looking marketing approach for the Rings of Power. And in the end, get even less footage than we did originally. So I don't know when we're going to get the full trailer. I really don't. I think that the people at HBO are going, Amazon, thank you for turning our Game of Thrones prequel into something that no one was interested in, to the hot fantasy property of 2022. Am I being unfair? But think about it. Those guys at Amazon, or at HBO Max, are probably laughing their ass off, going, "Oh, don't worry about it. They'll come running after they see the Rings of Power."
Absolutely, it's weird, and we're not even particularly close. This is September still. We've still got a lot of time for them to bring out and roll out multiple ad campaigns for this thing, and
Yeah.
it's kind of funny in a very sad way to see them fail time and time again, but it just proves that people feel incredibly strongly about Tolkien. They are very protective of Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's legacy, and I think it's great to see. If this is the pushback, this is the one that we need to get behind as fans.
You know what I can't wait for is I can't wait for the Amazon drop of the transgender orc who has a sympathetic backstory, who's in love with another human, and they have a baby, and they're being oppressed by the patriarchy of Numenor. Why do I have the feeling I'm not going to be too far off with that?
We're going to get a sympathetic backstory to Sauron. Yes,
Of
he's
course we are.
just misunderstood. That's all.
Yep. Those elves, Numenor, they were asking for it. They were asking for it. You guys, all right, this is 30 minutes. This is as long as I wanted to go today. Thanks to everybody who showed up, and thanks to everybody who's going to watch this on replay. Purple, you and I are going to be on another show tonight. What's going on? We're going to be on Nerdporial. Today's Thursday, right? I
It
lose track
is,
of days.
yes, absolutely.
Yes. So tell people about that tonight and what time it starts.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be joining Nerdporial. We're going to be talking the Northmen, really kind of getting into the detail and the history and comparisons between Hamlet, and we're talking about the actors, and it's going to be a great show. I believe it is a 7 p.m. Central tonight on his channel.
Thank God. Thank God somebody knows. I should probably check my Twitter messages more often. You guys, this has been a lot of fun. I'm going to be on that Nerdporial show tonight, and don't be surprised if you don't see something later tomorrow night that you just maybe something might pop up with a bunch of people having a good time. We're not going to say any more about that, are we, Purple? But thanks to everybody who's been in chat. So go ahead, Purple, take us out.
Absolutely. A huge thank you to Salty for doing this. I think it's so important to every time that something like this comes out to cover it, to talk about it, because nobody else seems to know about it. And, the more people we can get, the more eyes focused on this, the better, especially when they keep failing as hard as they do with the anus apoda. So thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. You guys are the best.
I really want that Brazilian Rings of Power t-shirt. It just says anus of Poder. That's what I want to do. You guys have been fantastic. We have 20 people here today. Thanks for jumping on with us. This has been a lot of fun. A big thank you to Purple for joining me in this crazy thing we did on the spur of the moment. And I also want to do this. I want to shout out a good friend of both of ours, Maxfield Von Priestley. He just formally received his monetization for YouTube.
Bravo.
So hail to my brother. We were talking 3 hours after our stream ended on Tuesday with Zach. So we actually really are friends. Well, I'm not really friends with Zach, but I'm friends with Max. So in Purple. But hail to you guys. We're going to let you go. Have a great one. I'm going to take us out with an intro that those of you, it's probably not for this show, but that's okay. You all we are almost there to the weekend. Have a great Thursday, everybody.
Take care.
As ever, this is Salty Texas C. I am Corey DB. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you've seen and heard, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you on board. That way you know. And we have things like live streams, which we are going to be doing every Tuesday evening. Take care. I hope you're having a great 2022.